Greetings viewers, this is planned to be the first of a number of posts with updates of progress on my layout since I decided to finally add some scenery to what was originally intended as a kind of demonstration layout to simply run trains. To start with, I thought I'd give a little orientation to the layout's location and dimensions. This is the railway room in its guise as a guest room, with the layout folded down and mostly covered by two bamboo window blinds. I just need to shift the furniture along the wall to my right, and that will allow me to raise the baseboard into place. So here we go. Firstly, I have to remove the two window blinds. Lift them up first. Right to the top. Lock them off. And that one as well. Go over on the bed behind me. This one. I just have to lift up the baseboard now, and the legs should just drop down onto the floor steadily. I just have to make sure they're upright, which that one isn't, but it now is. And that's the baseboard in the raised position. That was Tuesday the 13th of February 2018, and today is 2 weeks later. And in the meantime, I've added these spotlights to illuminate the layout that much better. I'm just going to flick the main switch on now, which will illuminate the layout and also power up the controller. I thought I'd let one of my American diesels take us on an orientation tour of the layout. It's currently on what I'm calling the long siding, which joins the outer main line here and runs through the station road. So it's running on the outer main line at the moment. And it's just about to enter the station passing loop, and then crossing over to the inner main line, where it will use the second of these crossovers to come through into the inner station loop, just there. And that's where it will rejoin the inner main line. It was only after applying the Gaugemaster back scene a few weeks ago that I decided that I would start adding some scenery to the layout. The plan is to add scenery to this end of the layout first of all. These are vinyl floor tiles in the style of parquet flooring, which I've just put on the layout originally just for pure decoration. I'm toying with the idea of using this PVA to seal the surface, or cut enough of it out to be able to attach the scenery firmly to the baseboard underneath. With a little shaping, I could use some of this packing material here as a basis for some of the scenery, because it's very easily moulded and cut and shaped. So just to test the theory, I've put a piece of that packing material on the end of the baseboard, and I've put some cork bark rocks and so on around with some lichen dressing and a few trees just standing loose, and it's already looking okay. So I think I might press ahead using this material, packing material, Before I start adding the scenery here, I'm going to put down this autumn grass mat by Gaugemaster. I've now laid down the grass matting using PVA adhesive, and also I've roughly shaped the packaging I was mentioning earlier and filling up the spaces with screwed up newspaper, which I'm going to cover with wallpaper adhesive to end up with a smoother surface, at least on the top, and that should set using, in other words, old-fashioned papier-mâché. In view of the fact that the baseboard folds flat against the wall when not in use, I've attached this piece of scenery with 2 screws. This is one of them at this end. The papier-mâché filling has now dried on this piece of scenery, and I'm just about to coat it in a vaguely green paint, so that if anything at all shows through from the decoration that's added, it'll only ever be green. But I've finished painting that now in this strange green emulsion, and it's ready to start taking the various layers of scenic material. Before adding the scenic textures, I thought I'd paint all the vertical surfaces with this slate grey colour to represent rock faces. Before finally getting around to adding the texture into this area, I just wanted to finish painting this backdrop and adding the cork bark pieces. There's still all the corner left to do. This area is largely completed now using items from the Woodland Scenics range, and I'm pretty pleased with the way it's turned out. The cork bark pieces came from the internet. I've already painted the station platform, so it's just the track now that needs to be ballasted. The platform lines have now all been ballasted. The ballast is a blend of Gaugemaster and Woodland Scenics, all fixed down with Scenic cement, also by Woodland Scenics. Before ballasting this section, I'm going to remove the short piece of redundant line between these 2 crossovers. I've removed this section of line now. I've turned it into a scenic area along with railway workers. Right, well, the next area to be dealt with is this end of the layout. I've already got a painted background and a tapered retaining wall card kit from Metcalfe in place. I've now added some scenic texturing to this corner of the layout, as well as a piece of redundant track just to stand some demonstration rolling stock from time to time. I've also painted the baseboard here and added the low relief 1930s factory by scale model scenery in the other corner. I've now disguised the power controller by using a pair of Metcalfe retaining walls and also a Bachmann pumping station. I also added some scenic texturing, and I found these windows on the internet which I just printed off and stuck in place. Well, it's now Friday the 13th of April 2018, and I've been working on and off on the scenery since Tuesday the 13th of February 2018, and I've decided that at last the railway is finished. During the process I was actually able to gather a lot of information from contributors to YouTube, learning a lot about their ideas and concepts. Before we have some train run-bys, I just thought we'd have a look at a few features in detail. Since my American trains are already on the track, we can let them do the run-bys. The executive saloon is at the end of this one. To conclude the video, I'll marshal both these trains into one quadruple-headed freight train. It's actually not quite the end of the story, because the ultimate test is to see if the baseboard folds flat against the wall again, and to see if all the scenery stays in place. So live on the internet, this could all go terribly wrong. Phew, that was almost a disaster. Not at all an easy job, as you could see, but I made it in the end. Nothing fell off. I just heard a small tinkling of loose ballast falling onto the ground. Apart from that, it seems to be a great success. I almost forgot one last job, and that's to put back the bamboo window blinds. This one first. The second one, I had to use this protective piece here to protect the scenery. So, the last one. That's it, both window blinds in place. Thank you for your patience, viewers, and until next time, take care.